What is up, Sneaky Nation? Sneaky P here with my reaction to the 49ers Week 2 victory over the Cincinnati Bengals, 41-17. And I am so happy to have been wrong about this game. I was worried the 49ers wouldn't be able to get a victory being on the road. They haven't had a great road record in recent seasons, and winning 2 in a row kind of seemed like a tough task, especially against the Bengals team that looked pretty good in Week 1. But the 49ers proved me wrong, man. They came out swinging with a dominant victory over the Bengals, and I am absolutely thrilled. So let's jump on into it. And the game balls have to go to Kyle Shanahan for that first half, and then, of course, the offensive line. In the first half, I really did not think Jimmy Garoppolo looked very good, to be honest. He had 2 touchdown passes, but the first one was to Marquise Goodwin, which was wide open. Every single quarterback in the NFL should be able to make that throw. The other one was a screenplay to Mostert, where Mostert just made an incredible play. Any pass Garoppolo threw down the field was either off target or that terrible decision, which was intercepted. And after that happened, the first half, Kyle Shanahan kept it tight. I mean, most of our passes were screenplays or short throws. He really wasn't letting Garoppolo throw it down the field after that mistake. Now, I thought Shanahan had lost confidence in Garoppolo. However, in the second half, Garoppolo came out and he started making some throws down the field. He looked a lot better in the second half. And overall, what an amazing game by the 49ers. The offensive line, I can't remember a game where I watched an offensive line dominate more than in this game. I mean, 259 rushing yards, 6.2 yards a carry. But on top of that, Jimmy Garoppolo was throwing from a clean pocket pretty much every single play. He got pressured once or twice, but nothing significant at all. The Bengals didn't end up getting a single sack on the day. I mean, the offensive line was just absolutely amazing throughout this game. The run game was just, I mean, it was absolutely crazy. Typically, if you see like 259 yards on the ground, you're going to have a receiver that had like a 60-plus yard touchdown run or something like that, a runner. But the longest run of the game was 34 yards. I mean, you could take that 34-yard run away, and the 49ers still ran for 230, 220, 30 yards, whatever. So, I mean, it was just an unbelievable game by the 49ers offensive line. The receivers, still a little bit hit and miss for me. Deebo Samuel stepped up. He did have one drop I didn't like seeing. It's not that, receivers aren't ever going to drop the ball. It's just that the 49ers receivers have been plagued with drops in recent seasons. So to kind of see another drop, it's like, here we go again. But he recovered pretty well. I mean, 5 catches, 87 yards, and a touchdown. Some of these were some of those short catches that I was talking about earlier where he just made a play. But he did have one or two catches down the field as well, which were really nice. Obviously, that touchdown was great as well. Marquise Goodwin had that freebie touchdown where nobody was defending him. That is all Kyle Shanahan on that one. But he also had another big catch down the field, I think on 3rd and long, and he got leveled by Jesse Bates and held onto the ball. It was great to see that. Got right up. Love to see that. George Kittle, only 3 catches for 54 yards in this game, but one of his catches was just unbelievable. He should have easily been tackled. He had like a 1-on-2, and he stiff-armed one guy away and then just plowed through the other guy to pick up like 10 extra yards that he had no business having. I mean, it was unbelievable. But you look at 3 catches, and I mean, you're like, well, maybe that's not a great George Kittle game. No, part of the reason we were running the ball so well is George Kittle was just killing it in the run blocking game. I mean, he was just in on so many plays. And even if he's not catching the ball a ton, this dude is making an impact on the game. And that was very evident today. The biggest concern for the offense for me after this one, and this is massive, the injury to Joe Staley. This could be season-changing if it's anything serious. If he's only going to miss a few weeks, I'm not super worried about it. It'll suck to not have him, but the 49ers can manage. If this is a season-ending injury, the 49ers season is in jeopardy because of it. And if we still had Sean Coleman healthy, I would feel a little bit different. It would be a massive blow regardless if you lose a guy like Joe Staley. But Sean Coleman, you know, he can start in this league. He's not going to be as good as Joe Staley, but he can start in this league. But, you know, he went down in preseason, and nobody else that we tried playing at tackle looked anything remotely close to an NFL caliber player, much less a starter. I mean, constant holding calls, giving up a lot of sacks. And, you know, if this is a season-ending injury to Joe Staley, I really think the 49ers need to consider making a trade for another left tackle or a right tackle and maybe move McGlinchey over to left tackle. Something needs to happen because I don't trust our backup right now. He hasn't shown anything like he can be a starter in this league. He didn't even really look like an NFL player, if I'm being honest. So to think about him starting, I mean, he held up fine when he went in today once Joe Staley went down. But at that point, the 49ers had such a massive lead. I really think the Bengals defense was just a little bit over it. I don't know, man. That's very concerning. Like I said, that could be season changing. So hopefully it's not super serious, but it looked like something with his knee, man. And if it is something with his knee and it's not good, who knows? Hopefully it's something different. Hopefully I'm wrong on that, but that is definitely a big concern for me right now. Going over to the defensive side of the ball, I mean, just what an amazing game by the defense, too. I really think that's going to get lost in the effort of the 49ers throw to 41 points, but the defense was amazing all game. They really held the Bengals to 10 points. The late touchdown was garbage time. I think the 49ers mostly had their backups out there. I saw Sherman on the bench. I think Witherspoon was on the bench. I think it was thrown against Mosley, but maybe I am mistaken on that. Either way, I don't think it was the 49ers starting secondary out there. I'm not super concerned about that. But as for the starters holding the Bengals to 10 points, especially after seeing the Bengals move the ball down the field last week, was great. It was really great to see them just shut down the Bengals running game. And the Bengals didn't run well in week 1 either, so I wasn't super concerned about that, but the 49ers really did not do a great job stopping the run in week 1 against Ronald Jones and the Buccaneers, so I was a little hesitant on that. I did mention in the preview video, I thought that was more just a bad game than a sign of things to come. I thought they would be better, but I really didn't think they'd be near as good as they were today. They held the Bengals to 1.3 yards a carry. And if you can't run the ball, man, you can't get things going. That was the key for me for the 49ers to have success. You know, I talked about it. I said the 49ers need to establish the run game this week because they didn't do that in week 1. And once they established the run game, once that was going, it really opened things up for Jimmy Garoppolo, and that's why you saw a lot of open receivers down the field. So that was so key for the 49ers. And shutting down the Bengals run just didn't allow things to open up for them. And it was pretty evident throughout the day, honestly. The Bengals did throw it for 311 yards, but I mean on 42 pass attempts. And again, 66 of those yards came on that garbage time touchdown to John Ross. So really wasn't anything significant that I would worry about there. Overall, great performance from the defense. One of the best players, and maybe the best player today on the 49ers defense, was Ronald Blair III. A guy that I was worried might not make the roster just with the depth on this defensive line. He had a sack. He was blowing up run plays constantly into the backfield. I mean, he was just everywhere for the 49ers defense today, and that was great to see. Quan Alexander really had a great game. I was a little bit worried about him when he got into a fight. Like, he was in the Bengals' face constantly after making a tackle, and I didn't really mind that, but at one point a fight almost broke out. Luckily, no flags were thrown. But if he got flagged for like a personal foul there, I would have been pissed, especially after last week, him getting in trouble. But luckily nothing happened. He had 3 passes defended. I mean, he was making some great tackles as well. Very happy with that. Ahkello Witherspoon, another amazing game by him. However, he dropped the pick 6, got a stupid penalty afterwards. So that kind of sucked, but you know, you want to see him hold on to that ball because having Geez, having another pick six there would have put that game away a little bit earlier. At that point, it was still a game. The 49ers had the lead, but it was still a game. And that's one of those momentum plays that would have ended it right there. He didn't get it, and then he got a penalty after, which I didn't like to see. But overall, he rebounded well. He had a pretty good game, I would say. Didn't really notice much of anything from D Ford today. I noticed one play early in the game. I think he made a great play on a running play, and he got into the backfield. But other than that, D Ford was mostly invisible. Not a great, outstanding game from Nick Bosa either. The Bengals offensive line did pretty good. I mean, the 49ers got 4 sacks on the day. They got a couple more quarterback hits on top of that, but most of the game, it seemed like Andy Dalton had a pretty clean pocket, I would say. The 49ers really got 3 sacks. The 4th sack, Dalton was trying to scramble on it, and Solomon Thomas got him for a yard loss. So, it was a sack, but it wasn't like Dalton was dropping back and the 49ers made a great play. So, but yeah, Nick Bosa, he did get one pressure towards the end of the game. That was great to see, but otherwise he was pretty quiet as well. Armstead has been great this season, man. That was a great sack by him. And then we saw Defoe get a sack as well, which was wonderful to see, I would say. Wonderful to see. But yeah, man, overall, I mean, really, this game was just 49ers through and through. It was great to see them dominate. Getting 2 road victories to start the season is massive for this team, building some confidence up. Little bit worried about a few things. I mean, that Joe Staley injury just could be game-changing. So hopefully nothing too serious is going on there, and he can return later this season. Hopefully won't miss a whole lot of time. If that's a season-ending injury, though, I really think the 49ers might need to try to make a trade for somebody. I don't even know who would be available at this point, but try something because that's a game-changer right there. Jimmy Garoppolo didn't love that interception. It was such a terrible, terrible idea. I mean, it's just poor decision-making. I talked about it before. He can make all kinds of throws, but so often he just makes these terrible decisions. And luckily, through 2 weeks, it has not come back to haunt the 49ers. But, those types of interceptions that just should not happen at all, those can come back to haunt the team. So, luckily, it hasn't happened for the 49ers yet. I would love to see him clean that up. But he really played so much better in the second half. The first half, after that throw, Kyle Shanahan was, pumping the brakes on that. Was not letting Garoppolo throw it down the field, really. But then in the second half, he got to air it out a little bit more and ended up throwing for 297 yards. So, great to see. But overall, 49ers 2-0. Next week, we have the Pittsburgh Steelers. And as far as I know, Roethlisberger and James Conner both went out with injuries in this game. I don't know the severity of it. From what I can tell, I expect they will play next week, but I really don't know. I mean, I just heard they went out, and Roethlisberger's standing on the sideline looking fine, so I'm thinking maybe he's just a little sore right now, but, who knows? Maybe he won't play. That would definitely change things up, but 2-0 to start the season, 2 road victories, no less. Great sign, and Kyle Shanahan was amazing this game. Again, offensive line was just next level. I don't think I've ever seen an offensive line dominate the way they did in this game, at least not that I remember, especially on a road game. It was wonderful to see, but that is going to be it for my reaction and initial thoughts on this game. Let me know what you guys are thinking about everything. Oh, last thing I need to talk about. I gave a lot of credit to the offensive line, but I mean, the running backs were incredible too. Matt Breida had one of the best runs I have seen from the 49ers in years, where he was just so patient. I actually tweeted out the replay of it. I mean, it was just unbelievable. Mostert was great. Wilson came in. He was great. And while the offensive line was doing a great job, they were doing a great job reading what the offensive line was giving them. They were being patient. They weren't forcing it. They were waiting for their blocks to come. And, I mean, it showed. I mean, it was just working in harmony today. It was a thing of beauty, man. But, yeah, those are my thoughts, guys. Let me know what you guys are thinking in the comments below, and I will see you guys next time. Later.